Hey everyone, it's Duc. Welcome to Build Interactive Social Networking Apps. This is a sample chapter from the course. For more information and sample chapters, please visit me at developerinspirus.io/social. Hey, welcome back, it's Duc. In this video, let's create a class for this view controller, the interest view controller, and then we will implement all the features about the Stretchy headers. So I will go over the attribute the project navigator and then click into new file. So we'll have a Cocoa Touch class, and for this one we'll go subclass of UI view controller, and the name of the class I will name it interest view controller, just like this, and then I will click next. So I will just place it right there, and then we have the interest view controller. So let's do some of the cleaning stuff that we usually do. We don't need the disk receive memory warning, so let's delete that. But in some other cases, like in your real app, maybe you want to handle the case of memory warning, okay? But right now, for just the learning purpose, let's just leave it there. Alright, so this is an interest view controller. The job of it is it will display the information about an interest, and each interest will have multiple posts, just like kind of like a group in Facebook or a room in the Rooms app of Facebook. So each room or each group will have different posts. So we will have, like here we'll have the interest information plus some post, right? So all we need right now is our public API. The first thing we will need to consider about any class is what should we make it public, right, for other people to use it. So right now we just want to have the public API of the var interest, so that other class can set my interest. So my interest is right now. So how about just in this tutorial, okay, about this in a part of the tutorials, let's just use the first interest in our dummy variables, okay? So we have the first interest as our interest. Alright, how about let's have an array of, let's have the private property, private. And the first thing I want to do is I want to have an IB outlet with var of the table view, and that is UITableView. Just like that, right? Next, I want to have two properties for the table header view. The first one is the table header view height. The second one is the table header cutaway. And maybe right now, let's just have the table view height. So private let table header height, and that is a CG float of I want it by default to be 350 pixels, okay? Alright, next I want to have a private property of the header view. That is a subclass of interest header, so that later on I can just assign that header view with the table view header view, and I can manipulate that, okay? So I have private var table header view, and that is of type interest header view, okay? So let's find out why we would need this header view. So in the viewDidLoad method, I will delete this comment, and we will do header view equals table view dot header view, table view dot header view, table header view as interest header view, okay? And so we want to clear out this table header view equals nil, and we want to add this one as subviews into the table view, add the header view into the table view. By this, we can just have this as a convenient property and configure this table view, okay? So if you look at our demo right here, we want to have, this is the table view of 350 pixels. So by default, I want to move down the content view of the table view right down 350 pixels. So that is the property content inset of the table view. So I will do table view dot content inset, and that is UI edge inset. And then I have to specify the top, which is the table header view, table header height. Okay, so this is the table header height. And the left, let's just make it 0, bottom 0, and the right is 0. Okay, now let's have a content offset, and we want to move it down the table header height. Table view dot content offset equals CG point. We have the X, which is 0, the Y is negative, table header height. Okay. All right, and the next thing I want to do is I want to call a method called update header view. And for this method, update header view, I want to update all the information that I will need as the user scroll it like that. And we want to update information about the header view. So let's call update header view. And right down here, let's delete that one. We will have func update header view. All right, so in the update header view, I want to have something like I want to have the let effective height equals, well, why do we want to have the effective height? Because you see that we have this one, it is a cut away from our header view, right? So I want to have the height that the content can be in this area. And in order to use this effective height, I want to have another property on top of this. It's called the private let table header cut away. Okay, and that cut away, I want it to be 35 or maybe 50, yeah, 50 pixels, 50.0. Okay, and then right down below here, maybe I want to have private var, and it is of type header mask layer, and this is a CA shape layer. Okay, and this shape layer, what it all does, it is just a layer, and it will mask this one. It will cut it like this. Okay. So next, in the view did load, I want to instantiate. In the view did load, I want to instantiate an instance of this header mask layer right down below here. So let's do that. I will have the header mask layer equals CA shape layer. Parentheses, just like that. And I want to set the fill color of this header mask layer to be the black color. Dot fill color equals UI color dot black color dot CG color. Okay, because we want it to be CG color. All right, and in order to have all of these mask layer working, we want to assign the mask, the mask property of the layer of the header view to be our header mask layer. So I know that it sounds like complicated. It's just why the way I say that. So when we do the header view, that layer, it is the layer underneath any view, right? And then we set the mask for that. And we have the header mask layer equals to this mask. So it will be like this. But the fact that we want to draw something inside this later on in this update header view in order to have the real mask. So let's do that in the update header view. So I will have the effective height of this mask layer. So let's do that. We have the table header height minus the table header cutaway over 2. Okay, then we will have kind of like this space right here. It will be that effective height. Okay, and then we'll have the var header right equals cg right x cg right. Oops. We have the x is 0, y is effective height, negative effective height, width is table view dot bounds dot width, height is table header height. All right. So now I want to check if the table view dot content offset dot y is less than the effective height. Then I want to change the origin, the y origin of the header right. Header right dot origin dot y equals table view dot content offset dot y. And I want to change the size dot height of the header right. Size dot height equals negative table view dot content offset dot y and plus table header cutaway over 2. Okay. So in order this step, you will need to learn about those things. You will need to learn about the content offset. You will need to learn about the content inset, about the origin, the size, the width, the height, the frame, okay, the bounds, things like that. And maybe I will link down below I will have a reminder here for me, and I will link down below for you some of the video tutorials about the frame, the bounds, the width, the height, the size, the content inset, content offset of a scroll view. Okay, so that because I know that sometimes it is hard to, it is quite confusing, because if you not use this a lot, then maybe you will not understand this. But later on, when you learn about those things, just draw the picture and trace the code, then you will understand those. Okay, so now I want to set the frame of this header view dot frame into the header right. Okay, so the bounds, now the bounds is actually the view's dimension in its own coordinates system. So what it does is the bounds of this view is the area inside that also, and it has its own coordinate system. And the frame is the view's dimensions in its parent coordinate system. So in this one, the parent of this header view is the table view. Okay, so the bounds of this header view is the content inside that, the header inside that, the area inside this header view itself. So the x origin will be like this, the y will be like this. Okay, and how about the frame? The frame could be like that, and then like this, because this is the frame of this is the size of the table view. Okay, so now I want to create a Bezier path that will cut away the header, and kind of like a rectangle like this. So let's do that. The cutaway, I'll have path equals UI Bezier path. So this Bezier path, I want to move to the point of 0, 0, which is right there. Path.move to point, and CG point, X is 0, Y is 0. Okay. Next, I want to add a line to the point of header right.width, which is right there, and Y is still 0. So I will move from here to here, and then I will draw a line just like this. Okay, it's right there. So path dot add line to point and CG point. X is header right dot width, and Y is 0. So next I want to add a line to the point of CG point header right dot width. The X is CG point header right dot width, which is still that, and the Y is header right dot height, which is over here. Okay, we will have that point over here. Path dot add line to point, CG point. And then we want to have the x. The x of this is header right dot width. So we will have an x of header right dot width, and we'll have the y of header right dot height. Okay, so that, let me show you what it is. So the x is header right dot width, which is this point, but the y is moved down to header right dot height, which is that point. Okay, this point over here. All right. Now next, I want to add the line to the point, to the final point, which is this point. Where is that? This point over here. Okay, so let's do that. Path.align to point, and that is CG point. We have the x is 0, the y is header right dot height. So we have the header right. Where is that? Come on. Header right dot height, which is up until here, and we will minus the table header cutaway, which is minus this, and then that point will be this. Okay, so we have the header right dot height minus the table header cutaway, and there we go. All right, and then all we need to do now is we will add this path into the header mask layer path. So we have the header mask layer dot path, and that is path.cg path. Okay, and let me check if it is correct. So I want to have like that, and just to make sure that this header mask layer is instantiated. Okay, all right, so next, how about we will call this method, the update header view, in two other methods. The first one is we will call that in the view will layout subview, and don't forget to call super.view will layout subviews, and that we will do update header view, and we also want to call it in the viewDid layout subview, super.viewDid layout subviews, and that is update header view. Okay. All right. What's next? Now, if we run it now, we will have a crash. Why is it? Because we assign this table view as the data source and the delegate. We assign the view controller, the interest view controller, as the data source and the delegate of our table view, right? But we never implement the UITableView data source, so now we have to implement that. Right, so I will have an extension right down below here. Extension, interest view controller, and that will extend the UITableView controller UITableView data source. Right, and then for this I want to save some time, not just type all those things into here. So I will do it like that, very fast. All right. Okay. So now you can spend some time to just copy this code down, but I want to go over with you once, because now we need to implement the number of sections in table view, and we just return 1. We implement the table view number of rows in section, we return 1, because right now we just don't care about the table view yet. And we will set for row at index path, we will just get this identifier, the post cell, and then cast it as a UITableView cell and return the cell. Okay, so I will go over the main node storyboard, click to the table view, create a prototype cell, which is 1. Okay, and let's move this view on top of the cell. Okay, And don't forget to change this view into this interest collection interest header view, right? And we also have to connect those IB outlets. So let's connect those IB outlets. Right? You get that? All right. So we have the background image view. Let's background image view. The close button background view. Where's the close button? This one, right? We have the interest title label, travel around the world. We have the number of members, number of posts. And we also have the pull down to close. That is that. Okay. And for this cell, let's just name this identifier to be post cell, just like this. Okay. So let me see how's the code going. And also, let me check if we already connect the table view. So we also have to change this class into the interest. Okay. So there are a lot of things that we forgot to change those. So, and the only thing left is just connect this table view outlet into this one, and then we're done. So let's run this one to see if it works. All right, so I run the project and I get a crash right up front. The error message is, it's very explanatory. It says that my constraint, something over here. So when added to a view, the constraint items must be descendants of that view or the view itself. This will crash if the constraint needs to be resolved before the view hierarchy is assembled. So what it does is we have a constraint error for the travel around the world. Okay, so let's go back to the travel around the world and find out how we can fix that. So this is our main storyboard, and I want to clear the constraint for this. So let's select into travel around the world, and we will want to clear just the selected constraint. Okay, and then now let's drag this, control drag to the header view to have the leading space. Control drag to the top to have vertical spacing. Control drag to this view, the close button background view, and we have the horizontal spacing. Okay, and then you see that we don't have any yellow or red lines anymore, so that should do the job. And now let's see, it's still that, and that is not our error, it's by design. Okay, because we left this home screen view controller like that, and we jump right into this interest view controller. Right, so we got another crash. So this one is nil, and maybe we don't want to ungrab that, because right when it lay out subview, maybe the header view, the header mask layer hasn't been set yet. Right, it looks nice, right? But you see that as we scroll it down like this, it hasn't been stretching yet. But there are several things that we did right. The first one is all the layout, all the subviews looks incredibly great. The second one is, for this one, the cutaway looks amazing, right? And maybe I want to change this into something like system. Okay, the button into system, and we want to fix this stretchy headers, but it works, right? Our drawing code over here, the update header view, it works. So let's go back to main.storyboard, and maybe I want to change this, the button into system, and let's change the tint to be something like black. Let's try if black works. Okay, so right now it doesn't look quite nice, but okay. Alright, so let's go back to the interest view controller. And what all we need to do right now is just call a method, a delegate method of the UI scroll view again. And that method is scroll view did scroll. So as we scroll like that, the scroll view did scroll will be called continuously. And as that method calls continuously, we want to update the header view continuously. So right down below, I want to make another extension. And that extension is of the interest view control, extends the UI scroll view delegate. It conforms to the UI scroll view delegates protocol. And now we want to use scroll view did scroll. Okay. All we need to do right now is just update the header view. Okay. So how about give it a run? So what we want is we want to optional chaining this. Okay. Optional chaining this. In case this one is nil, then we will dump out the whole line. Right? And let's run it again. So don't forget this optional chaining stuff. Okay. And now let's prepare for the surprise. Okay. Yay, we did it. So we have this very well, like, it's amazing, the parallel effect, right? It looks incredibly nice. Right. So the next thing I want to challenge you to do is there are a little bit like if you see behind this, the status bar, it is not hidden yet. So I want to challenge you to hide the status bar. And the second thing I want to challenge you is right now by default, I didn't do anything. I want to hide this pull down to close. Okay, and as I scroll to another like some distance, I scroll down and I want to show this pull down to close. So that is your challenge in this video tutorial. And again, I hope that you have been enjoying this video tutorials. If you have any question, feel free to post it right down below or post it in the forum. If you have any questions, just post it and maybe another student or myself will answer your question, and your questions will help other students and myself tremendously. So thank you for joining us. Thank you for watching this sample chapter from View Interactive Social Networking Apps. I hope that it is of great help to you. This is a course I designed to help developers learn to design and make prototypes, start developing beautiful apps with great care for design in mind, help designers to start making their own apps. One important part of this course is the foundation for you to connect your app to the world by using PaaS as a backend service. For more information and sample chapters from the course, visit me at developerinspirus.io/social. Till next time, go out there, learn new things, craft your ideas, and contribute to the world.